Hello and welcome back to Scaled Down Customs. So this is going to be part 3 of the comparison build between the Revell Germany and the Revell USA Corvette C7R kits. We're going to continue getting these builds completed, and we're up to finishing up the chassis and interior. We're going to finish assembling these and getting the chassis and the interior ready for the body. Alright, got the chassis together. So now we need to get the clear coat on the body. I'm going to, just to seal in those decals, I am going to do a clear coat. I'll probably try this Mr. Hobby gloss clear. This is their super gloss clear. I saw Ziggy's Desk use this clear on his Ducati build, so I think I'm going to try it as well, and we'll see how that turns out. Alright, so I got 2 coats on there. This is by far the thickest clear coat I've ever used, and I don't think I thinned it quite enough. You can see some pretty good orange peel. Maybe you can. Hopefully the camera's gonna pick that up a little bit for you, but It's got a lot more orange peel on there than I want. And again, I think that's because I didn't thin it quite enough when spraying it on. But we're going to sand it down a little bit anyway and then recoat it. So that's what we're going to do now. So to do that, I'm going to be using my Tamiya 3000 grit sanding sponge, and we're going to wet sand this. And I'm going to be really careful and try not to burn through the clear coat into the paint and the decals. So just a really, really light sanding. All right, so for the second application, I used the mixing recipe a little bit more carefully, as Ziggy's desk suggested, and that turned out a lot better. I've still got some bubble spots or something going on. So I'm going to let this cure out, and then we'll lightly sand out the dust spots and imperfections, polish it out, and then we should be getting close to getting this thing finished up. So while that clear coat is curing, I want to move on to a couple other small pieces like the headlight lenses and the tail light lenses, getting those finished up and getting this build finished up. All right, so I'm going to put a black border around the headlight lenses, and then we're going to paint some black trim around the tail light lenses. For the black border around the glass, I normally use a Sharpie. I'm going to try a combination of a Sharpie first, and then I'm going to try this Gundam Maker paint pen and see how this does. If you're asking why I did a Sharpie first and then another black marker on top of it, it's because the Sharpie, in my opinion, leaves a little bit of a blue, kind of a dark blue tint behind. But the paint marker needs a little bit more to stick to than just the glass. So basically I used the Sharpie as a primer coat, if you will, to give the paint marker a little bit more to stick to. So that's why I did both. All right, so I got some of my dust spots and bubbles kind of sanded down a little bit, wet sanded, just the same process as before. And so we're ready to polish it out, see how that turns out. So I'm just going to be using a medium sponge, a yellow sponge, and some rubbing compound from Scale Finishes. And I'll be machine polishing. If you want to learn more about how I machine polish plastic model cars, make sure you check out my other video for that. So we're just going to polish this out again. All right, so I've got it polished out, and one more thing to do before final assembly is I want to separate the diffusers on the bottom. So I'm going to mask it up, and we're going to spray just the diffusers on the bottom and the tail panel on the back semi-gloss black. All right, I think we're ready for final assembly, so let's start doing that. All right, first one done. The Revell USA car is done. So we'll get the Revell Germany car finished up, and then we can do our side-by-side comparison, and I'll discuss what I found. All right, so I finally got the other car finished. So as you can see, they both finish up very nicely, almost identical. I'm quite certain that they're from the same mold. There's the same imperfections in the plastics on both cars in the exact same spots. So let's start going through what I found in building up these two cars from Revell. So the first difference that you'll see when you purchase these is, of course, the box art, with the Revell Germany being a picture of the completed model and Revell USA being a picture of the actual car. Sometimes I like to have a picture of the actual car so I can get a little bit better of a representation on details to build up on the car. And you have some example photos for Revell USA and for Revell Germany, so pretty similar. A couple of different pictures, but anyway, so that's going to be the box art. So as I mentioned in the first video in the unboxing, they're both 1/25th scale. They both have exactly 64 parts. The level differs a little bit on both of the boxes. The skill level, I would say, would be identical because the parts are all the same. The Revell Germany, it cost me $35.99, and the Revell USA cost me $22.99. So the body in this one is molded in yellow and then different various dark gray, light gray, just some different grays. This is all white. You are going to get more paint callouts with the Revell Germany. The dashboard is gray, and some other interior components are also gray, kind of a dark gray if I followed the callouts. And whereas this, the dashboard is black, all the interior components are all black. You can see everything's kind of black, and this one, things are going to be a little bit different. You can see there the seat is gray, which highlights the seat a little bit more. Plus you can also see the decals. The seatbelt decals that come extra with the Revell Germany kit. They do not come with the Revell USA kit. So while we're talking about paint callouts, so this one might be a little bit more advanced in the fact that on the paint callouts you are going to have some mixing ratios. 50% black silk matte with 50% dark gray silk matte. Here's another one, 95% black silk matte, 5% iron metallic. So you are going to have a little bit more advanced mixing ratios if you want to follow the paint callouts more accurately. You'll have a little bit more advanced paint mixing ratios with the Revell Germany kit. So that would probably make the Revell Germany kit slightly more advanced just for the paint callouts, but you don't have to follow those exactly. You can substitute a different color if you want, which I've done on this one. You can see I marked this as German gray and just use the German gray, which I felt was a pretty dark gray, and then gunmetal for this color. So there's some options, of course, you can choose on those. And while we're talking about instructions, obviously you can see that the instructions are in color, as I mentioned in the unboxing, in the Revell Germany, whereas in the Revell USA they're just black and white. And one thing that I found very helpful, when you're installing the roll cage, there are 4 holes in the rear area where a couple of different, the side roll cage and then the top roll cage, will glue into. In the Revell USA, it's a little vague on where those go. You just kind of have to figure it out. And on the Revell Germany, you can see that they are calling out which holes those specific items go into more specifically. So I found that very helpful, because on the Revell USA car, I glued it into the wrong area and had to, when I got to the top roll cage, I had to snap it out, kind of do some cleanup, and then put it back in the right hole. So anyway, so that was helpful for the Revell Germany instructions. And then other than that, the real difference is, like I mentioned in the beginning, the decals. So as you can see, the decals on the black and the gray racing stripes are a lot darker on the Revell Germany than they are on the Revell USA. The carbon fiber decal on the wing, also slightly different. I almost like the Revell USA one a little bit better because it's a little more subtle on the carbon fiber. And then on some of these other decals I mentioned in the last video, the side decals. So on the Revell USA, that's supposed to be yellow and that's supposed to be red. And those are almost transparent. You can barely see them if you get them in the light correctly. Whereas the Revell Germany car, they stand out more accurately as they're supposed to. So you can really see the yellow and the red standing out on that black. So that is a distinct advantage on those decals, and I'll get some close-ups on these for you as well. So as far as the comparison build, that's pretty much it. Like I said, the plastics are almost identical. The real big difference is going to be in your instruction sheet and your decal sheet. Other than that, the cars build up exactly identical. So there you go. That answered that question for me, because I've always wondered. I've seen the Revell Germany kits and I've seen the Revell USA kits, and I've always wondered what the difference was. So I hope that was helpful for you guys. It was certainly helpful for me. So I think that'll do it for this video. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you on the next one.